The towers of Bologna, Italy. These towers were constructed around the 12th and 13th century. However, I think they may be a lot older than that because there's a neighboring town with cities or towers that were built in the 1st and 2nd century that are almost identical. And we know that history is a little bit skewed, and these towers, or this city at least, Bologna, was surrounded by a great wall, and around the 12th century it had up to 180 towers. Very little knowledge actually is in existence about why people were even building towers. I mean, I think there is knowledge, but little knowledge is given to us. We're left with a mystery and hypothesis. So, today fewer than 20 towers actually remain, and many have been demolished. And even in the early 1900s, they were still demolishing towers until they began to see the value and began to preserve them. The biggest tower, the Essanelli Tower, it's the big one next to the one that's leaning, is about 97 meters or 300 feet. And from that point, there's 5 roads that lead to the outside wall where there's 5 gates. And I just find it absolutely fascinating, this little metropolitan, just a big city. It looks amazing. The older the pictures are, the more amazing it looked. And just to think, that they were building towers like this, entire cities of towers like this, it shows, I think, how we suffered a little amnesia. This is great. This is really this shows that we kind of went backwards for a minute because this is no primitive people here. This is pretty amazing, and we never really learned about this in school. And eventually around 1348 there would be a big plague that would affect all of Europe. They called it the Black Death. The Black Death wiped out, half of the population. Which, this is kind of another mystery. I mean, it's very vague, the Black Death. I think there's a lot to explore there about what this was that wiped out so many people. And I think at that point wiped out a big part of our history, and hence our amnesia. But this town, San Gimignano, probably pronouncing that wrong, this is the one that was built in the 1st century. And here I'm just throwing in some towers of Tibet, just to get a little perspective. These towers in Tibet, in the Himalayas, and in the Sichuan province of China, these were built about 500 to 1800 years ago according to carbon dating. But that, again, is uh, is very loose dating, and very little information exists. I mean, these are oftentimes in remote areas with no roads and very difficult place to even build towers, and there's no stone. There is stone, but it's still mountainous. I mean, the people around did not build these towers. The locals did not build them. They occupy them now, but so very interesting. Two different parts of the world, very long time ago. Doesn't really fit into our narrative of history, but I'd like to explore these Himalayan towers a little more. I thought I'd just throw them in here at the end. But yeah, leave your comments and like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I just found this really, really fascinating. Amazing feats of engineering for any time frame, let alone some abandoned remote place in Tibet. So, thanks for watching.